Good evening. We are moving right along. We are going to be beginning our lesson 10 in Adeptship. Lesson 10. Our lesson 10 is on choosing the sponsoring master. So we have talked about all of the Ascended Masters in the Heaven world, and we know that they can be found at ascendedmasterindex.net and in a lot of other places. And I would like to share a teaching with you now that came through Theosophy. And it's a teaching that our beloved Elizabeth Clare Prophet also revisited when she was studying Theosophy with the students, especially the book The Masters in the Path by C.W. Ledbetter during her darshans, which I highly recommend, which you can find on YouTube. And the Ascended Masters explained to students of Theosophy that you can pick one master in particular and make him your sponsoring master. Now you might have several, you might have 2 or 3, and have somewhat of a mastermind alliance, as Napoleon Hill spoke about. But the idea is that you want to really devote yourself to a master. And you want to devote yourself to that master by doing good works in the master's name. You can read their dictations and texts and teachings. You can give their decree. You want to really create a close bond with the master. And so then what happens is that the master will create a compartment in their consciousness for you. You become a part of the master's consciousness, and they're able to tune into you, and you're able to tune into them. And so what's the most special part about the sponsoring master relationship, according to what I believe it was Kuthumi told the students of Theosophy, is that the master will help you balance your personal karma, and in exchange will give you world or planetary karma to balance. But this planetary karma, this world karma to balance, is less difficult in some ways because it's not registering on you and on your soul so personally. So personal karma can be very challenging to go through because it really gets our goat, as they say. And the world karma, on the other hand, well, it can be very heavy and difficult and challenging, but it's not as personal. We're not as personally invested. We're more impersonally invested in terms of world service. So the idea of the sponsoring master relationship is that this master, by cosmic law, can help us balance our karma more quickly and give us world karma in return. So this is also an acceleration of our spiritual path. Just like the violet flame is a tremendous acceleration, probably the most tremendous acceleration that you can ever find, the sponsoring master relationship is also one that we really want to take advantage of. And so you can pick the master of your choice, and there may be a time in your life where you're moving from one master to the next. I know for a long time I was very, very close to Linello and El Moria, and then I drew very close to Jesus, still do. And I thought he would be my master for life. Now I'm drawing closer to Gautama Buddha. And I believe that just like with human relationships, the masters, once we are ready for the next teacher, that teacher appears. Meaning that we study under one master, we gain a certain mastery with them, and then we might be moved to a new master. So we have to always be flexible. I also think it's important not to let go of the previous masters that were our best friend. Like they say, old friends are like gold, and so are the masters who helped us in the beginning of our journey. So I still very much appreciate Linello, write and burn letters to him. Appreciate very much El Moria and his incredible givingness on that blue ray of God's will. And I appreciate Jesus, of course. He saved my soul and so many others. He really is a world savior. He went and found me as a little lost sheep. As a little black sheep in the bushes, in the brambles. He really did. I'm so thankful to him. I really am. And then now I'm developing such a beautiful love for Gautama. And I realize I always loved him. And I don't know if he's my sponsoring master, but he's certainly working more closely with me now. So I'm explaining these things to you because the masters work with us, and nothing is set in stone, nothing is rigid. There's a flexibility, there's a growth. Things are continuously evolving and expanding in heaven. It's the law of transcendence, and it applies to us as well. So, as above, so below, right? So please consider, when you look at ascendedmasterindex.net or any of the websites or teachings on the Ascended Masters, who you might pick as your sponsoring master. Do you feel very close to Mother Mary? She will absolutely work with you if you give her rosaries, especially. And even if you're a part of another master, you can still give Mother Mary's rosaries. She's the Queen of Heaven. Or perhaps you feel close to Kuan Yin, the Goddess of Mercy, and the Asian system of masters and mantras. Or perhaps you are determined to be Archangel Michael's knight in shining armor. Or perhaps you just know, Saint Germain, he's my master. Everything I do is for Saint Germain and for the Aquarian Age. And so it is. If you are a student of psychology, you might really want to work with Kuthumi because he's the master psychologist. You need to expand your heart with love. Dwell Cool is the master who focuses on love. And so, whichever master you pick, cling to that master. There's a concept in Hebrew, in the Kabbalah, called tikkun, which means to cling to God, cling to God. I used to think of these little burrs in the wilderness, you know, when you get burrs on your shirt or on your socks and you can't get them off because they cling so hard with their little hooks. They have tiny little hooks, you know, if you look at them closely. And that is what we have to do with God. We have to cling to God like a burr and cling to the master that we are working with. Tell that master you love them. Tell them you'll do whatever they ask. Try and do whatever they ask. Study their words and what's important to them. Right? Treat them like you would your best friend. Every relationship has to be forged and won and built. And so that way you become more of your master, and your master allows himself or herself to be more of you. And it really is more of your Christ self, because at the level of the Christ we are all one, and the Christ of yourself and the Christ of your master are one. So your master is really bringing you and shaping you and finessing you for the work and relationship of your soul with your Holy Christ self, of whom she will ultimately become the bride of Christ. So that is my teaching on the sponsoring master relationship. It's not my teaching, but it's the teaching I choose to share with you as our lesson 9 in Adeptship, for you to accelerate on your spiritual path home. God bless you, and Remember, you can look up the masters and the retreats online to read what Ledbetter said about becoming a Chela of the master, and then moving from Chelaship to Adeptship, Arhatship, the various levels until you become a disciple, and then ultimately an unascended master, and then eventually you can become a master. All of this takes place with or without a physical body. What I'm saying is that we don't have to wait for death to have these changes take place in our life. We can do it right here and now while we're living simultaneously in the etheric plane and in the physical plane. God bless you. Namaste.